Hey guys, Tyler2K here, and today we're going to take a look at the Victor Chevalier trailer. As usual, Tekken 8 is an unreleased product and everything shown can and might change by final release date, but not like usual. Victor is the leader of the Raven Force, so I'm going to take some liberties while talking about Victor while using Raven as a reference point. Victor starts with a downward strike that's not just a power crush, but is also +0 on block and deals chip damage. Jack tries to power crush, but it gets hit by a low that shifts to attack throw on counter hit. And what I find funny about the animation is the first round that shot barely grazes Jack. Victor does an advancing overhead strike that deals chip damage on block and is also a heat engager. This move looks very similar to Noctis sidestep 2, but unlike Noctis's, Victor's appears to be -4 on block. Brian tries to push it back 1, but gets evaded by a Raven-style death from above. Although unlike DFA, I don't believe Victor's to be an unblockable. Victor punishes Law with a 1-1-2-2 that appears to be NC. He then performs an evasive mid strike, looking similar to Steve's old up back 1, but on counter hit guarantees to follow up high that shifts to attack throw on successful hit. Victor punishes with a 14 frame down back 1-1, looking similar to Noctis down back 1, but instead of shifting to roll, Victor enters into the first stance shown. The stance is signified by an elevated elbow, but since we don't have a name, I'm just going to call it crouch stance. And from crouch stance, Victor performs a low 1 attack that's +0s on hit, and as such likely has properties similar to Dragunov down 2. Victor then follows up with a generic 2 throw, a sword barrage attack, ending with a teleporting samurai finisher. Lars is punished by a 12 frame knee into shoot follow-up that automatically transitions into teleport, which itself automatically transitions into the second stance. And because we don't have a name for this stance, I call it a power stance. Notice how the sword is drawn to Victor's back. This stance is reminiscent of Setsuka's Shrouded Sky. Lars tries to challenge power stance, but gets interrupted by a power crush 3 1+2 that automatically leads to teleport, but is cancelled from entering into crouch stance by instead doing a Raven style white hold. Fang's new crouch dash 4 no longer staggers on block, but is still launch punished by Victor wall stand 1. Victor then follows up with a Kunimitsu style 2-2-2, ending with a shoot teleport very similar to Noctis. Victor enters power stance, where he performs a power stance 2, a tornado spin extender, that looks just like Shrouded Sky B. He then enters white hole, ending the combo with a back 3 1+2 that seems mechanically identical to Noctis back 4 1+2. Leroy's forward 4-2-2 is punished by a high attack that mechanically looks identical to Asusena's forward 1+2, as both are high power crush heat engagers. Victor follows up with a high attack that's plus frames on block and leads to power stance. The animation looks similar to Gerald's 2A+B. Using these plus frames, Victor does a power stance 4-2, a quick launching knee into ground smash tornado spin. Victor then finishes the combo with his heat smash, a low option into Fisher push away. Victor performs some sort of donkey kick, looking similar to Shaheen down back 4. The incoming move is reversed by Raven back 2, but the recovery speed is so quick that Victor is able to block it. Raven tries to turn steal with a Shadow 1+2 power crush, but is interrupted by Victor's 1+2 throw, a modified Raven Undertaker. Victor scores a counter hit down back 4, a low launcher that leads to a shooting double over stun. Victor then follows up with a wall stand 3-2 that causes tornado spin. This leads me to believe that all of Victor's ground pounds are -14, just like Raven. Victor ends the combo with a dash up 2-1 into crouch stance 3, a quick knee push-away ender that's also a heat engager. We see an advancing knee into shoot teleport that transitions into power stance. Now it's hard to tell exactly what happens next, but I do not believe this to be an auto low reversal. Instead, as Raven performs a full crouch down forward 3, we see Victor flinch and then teleport out of the way. Usually there's an explicit animation, just like the previous clip. Post wall splat, Victor performs a heat burst into a 4-3-2 ender that causes low slump rollaway. We see some sort of quick parry option that stuns Raven, guaranteeing a forward 4-1 heat engager. This will act very similar to Noctis forward 4-2, except it's a high instead of a mid. And while in heat mode, Victor's overhead strike is now plus on block and leads to power stance. Raven tries to sidestep out of the way, but gets hit by a power stance ground effect that may act similar to Geese's Raging Storm. Victor's overhead smash can be heat dash cancelled for full launch. He then follows up with a 3-4-2 series that gives the ground pound tornado spin. Victor then performs a shoot teleport into a power stance down 4-2 push away that will likely act as a hell sweep in neutral. And last but not least, Victor hits Raven with a counter launcher. Now it's too hard to tell the frames, but I believe this to be similar to Negan up forward 2, hitting on 16. This guarantees Victor's Rage Art as a follow-up, where we see a barrage of attacks into an ender that's similar to Noctis's Rage Art.